Hi, fourth graders, it's Heckman here, and today we're going to focus on solving division and multiplication word problems using a bar graph model and also using a variable or an unknown to answer the question in an equation. So let's start with this one. Josue learns 25 new spelling words. That is 5 times as many words as Kayla learns. How many words does Kayla learn? So when we see a word problem, sometimes the best way to start is to model it. So I'm going to go ahead and use a bar graph to model this by just creating a shape. And I know that Josue learns 25 new spelling words. And that's 5 times as many words as Kayla learns. So let's go ahead and make 5 boxes for 5 times. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. I'm making them all about the same size. 4 times, 5 times. So I've got 5 times as many, and I know that that's 25, so I'm going to use a label for this. I'm going to say this equals the amount of spelling words Josue, so I'm using J for Josue, learned, and that is 25 new words. So this represents 25 new spelling words for Josue. Let's keep reading. That is 5 times as many words as Kayla learns. So I need to go back and get a box for Kayla. So I'm going to use my shape tool again. And I'm just going to make one box the size of one of Josue's parts here. So she made one of those fifths. And I'm going to label that too. This time I don't know how much it is. So I'm going to just use the variable k. This equals the amount for Kayla. In my equation, that would look like this. 25 spelling words divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts equals the amount. And in the textbook, you'll see the variable they use is often a little tiny box, and that symbolizes their unknown. In this case, I know the unknown part that I want to find out is how many words does Kayla learn. So I'm going to use the variable k to mean Kayla. So my equation will be 25 divided by 5 equals the amount for Kayla, and that's my variable. So we just use a bar graph model and an equation. Now we would solve. One of the tricks is that this says 5 times as many, and so sometimes people think we're going to multiply, but once I start to model it out, then I can realize that we're actually breaking 25 into 5 different parts, and whenever I'm breaking something into equal parts, that's usually division. So let's count out by 5s and see how many we get here, but we're just going to go by 5 to see how much goes in each box, and we're going to stop at 25. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. It looks like we're going to put 5 in each of these boxes, and I can double check by doing 5, 10, 15, 20, and it fits perfectly 25, which is the amount that we said that we would get for Josue. So that checks out when we solve that. Kayla would learn 5 words to Josue's 25. Let's do another one because we're focusing on division and multiplication. So here's an example for a multiplication problem. And again, it has the word times in it. So that is a clue, but like we saw up above, sometimes the word times will be a trap and it'll actually be the opposite. It will be division to actually solve. So that's why our models become so important. Let's break this up and start to model it with a bar graph. Khalif writes 6 songs. So I'm going to go ahead and show a little bit of a bigger box, and I'm going to put a 6 inside of it because this time I know how much is in it. He wrote exactly 6, and so I could just write Khalif equals 6. So we'll use a K this time for Khalif. Madison writes 2 times as many songs as Khalif. So let's go ahead and model that. It doesn't tell us the number that she uses, but let's use an M for Madison. And let's go ahead and do 2 times that much. So this time we need 2 boxes to show 1 times as many, the same amount, and then 2 times as many, or twice as much. There's our model. How many songs does Madison write? With multiplication now, I can see that I have 6 in one box, so I would have to have 6 in each box. And so I'm really doing 6 twice, or 6 times 2. So my equation would be 6 times 2 equals, and again, we're practicing using an unknown or a variable, so I'm going to use M for Madison, but you could also use the variable of a question mark, or you could use the variable like they do in the book of just a little unknown box where you have to solve it. You just learned how to solve multiplication and division word problems using a bar model and an unknown. Have fun working on your slides, and I will see you later.